The Young and the Restless. Wednesday, July 15th, Kyle asks Patty to help bring down Victor the Young and the Restless. Y&R recaps for Wednesday, July 15th imply that Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, will ask Patty Williams, Stacey Hyduck, for help to bring down Victor Newman, Eric Braden. It was another crazy day in the land of Genoa City, so let's unpack all the drama. The Young and the Restless recaps for Wednesday note, the show started with Victor in his home having some flashbacks about better times with Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott. The mustache grinned as he remembered when he surprised his wife with the ranch renovations and her reaction. Victor got a call from his source, giving him an update on the Patty situation and Jack Abbott's Peter Bergman condition. The source noted that Patty was still in police custody and had not been granted bail. When Victor asked about Jack, he learned his nemesis was not in critical condition and expected to make a full recovery. Victor also found out that Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, and Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, were about to visit Jack. Victor was upset and noted he felt betrayed. Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, and Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, then paid Victor a visit. Their goal was to try to convince him against going after Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, and Spectra Charles to get Newman Media back. They wanted to rebuild Newman Media from the ground up and begged Victor to give them 6 months to do so. Chelsea and Adam's reasoning? Well, the media world is ever-changing, and they want to prove themselves to Victor. But the real reason, which Victor pointed out, was that Sally is pregnant and they still felt guilty over that whole affair thing. Betraying their respective partners at the time, Sally and Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, were not Chadam's best look, and they still feel bad and care. In the midst of it all, Chelsea and Adam also revealed that Billy may start working at Chancellor Industries with Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn. This is when Victor hinted that he may need to launch a strike against Chancellor to get that company back too. Despite their pleas, Victor dug his heels in and rejected their idea of giving Sally and Spectra Charles a break. Newman Media was his and was stolen. Victor reasoned what kind of message he would be sending if he allowed Sally to keep something that was his. Over at the hospital, Victoria walks into Jack's room and asks if he's up for a visit. He says he is, and she opens the door to allow Nikki to walk in. Jack sees the bandages on Nikki's eyes and gasps. Victoria catches up with her former stepfather for a bit, and then allows her mom and Jack to talk alone. They fill each other in on what's happened in their lives. Jack getting stabbed by Patty, and Diane Abbott, Susan Walters, getting injected with digitalis by Patty. All's well that ends well, and Patty is now behind bars though. Then, Nikki explains her vision loss and the mass that was pressing against her optic nerve. Jack lets Nikki know that he and Diane have reconciled, and they are doing okay. Meanwhile, Nikki tells him all the wonderful things Victor has done for her, flying in the specialist from New York for her surgery, and welcoming her back home to the ranch for her recovery. Still, unless he apologizes for what he's done to Jack and Diane, Nikki isn't sure about reconciliation. With that said, Jack assures Nikki that he and Diane are healing and that Victor did not win. Over in a waiting room at the hospital, Kyle catches Victoria getting emotional, and these two continue to bond. She talks to him about how beautiful the friendship between their parents has been, and they chat about how strong Jack and Nikki are still. The conversation does head back to Victor, as Kyle wonders how the entire family can ignore her father's actions. He notes that his parents wouldn't have had to go through what they went through if Victor hadn't brought Patty back to Genoa City. Victoria does suggest that someone may stand up to her father for what he's done, implying that her mother is. The Young and the Restless recaps for the July 15th show indicate that Kyle and Victoria head back to Jack's room, and then Diane arrives. At this point, Jack has reached out his hand to Nikki, and at first, Diane seems a little jealous. That is, until Nikki turns around and Diane sees the bandages on her eyes. The women are more than civil to each other, as Nikki is glad that Diane and Jack are okay after everything that Patty did to them. Diane asks multiple times if Nikki is okay and shows concerns. Nikki relents that she will be. Nikki and Victoria head out. After some chit-chat and family time, Kyle leaves Jack's hospital room too. Jack and Diane share some lovey-dovey alone moments, and he makes room for her to cuddle in his bed. Both are so happy to be in each other's arms and look forward to making more memories in the future. Jack and Diane want to make up for lost time. Still, Diane notes that there's something off about Kyle. Jack says that it's likely all the recent trauma and time will heal his wounds. When Nikki and Victoria go back to the ranch, they run into Chelsea and Adam. As there was a time when Adam lost his vision, he offers to help Nikki with anything she needs. Chadam gives their well wishes and then leaves the mansion. Victor sits with his estranged wife and daughter, and the three have a light conversation. Victor fishes to see if they will tell him that they went to visit Jack. After some talk, it comes out, and Victor gets upset and storms out of the room. As the show wraps up, Kyle arrives at Patty's jail cell. After some banter between them and a ton of taunting on Patty's part, Kyle tells Patty she is going to give him the information he needs to bring Victor down. Patty gives a devilish grin back as Kyle says this. Then, Chesley and Adam arrive at Crimson, frustrated as heck about Victor's response to their proposal. They want to give Sally a break, but is there any way they can stop Victor's wrath against Spectre Charles Communication? The Young and the Restless spoilers say that Victor is on a winning streak, and going against him is considered a major betrayal, so the two better watch their step.